I sat in my home office, watching the security feed from my daughter Emma's 16th birthday party. She looked beautiful in her blue dress, but her eyes kept drifting to the empty seat beside me. Jack had promised he'd make it this time. He'd sworn this party was on his calendar, blocked off months in advance. Then came the usual text: critical investor meeting. Can't miss this. I'll make it up to her tomorrow. My phone buzzed with another message, this time from my COO. Acquisition papers are ready. Jack's company has no idea what's coming. Perfect timing, I typed back. He just missed another milestone. Emma appeared in my doorway, her party dress slightly wrinkled. Mom, is Dad really not coming? I closed the security feed and opened my arms. She might be 16, but she still needed her mother's hugs. He's stuck in a meeting, honey. Like Tommy's graduation, and my piano competition, and Christmas? Her voice cracked slightly. Why does his business always matter more than us? If only Jack knew that while he was building his modest tech consulting firm, I'd spent the last decade creating Aurora Technologies, the fastest-growing tech company in Asia. Those mommy and me classes I attended, actually board meetings scheduled around school pickups. The book club that met during his business trips, my executive team. Sometimes, I said carefully, people don't realize what they're losing until it's gone. I checked my watch. Speaking of which, how would you like to help me with something important? Emma wiped her eyes. What kind of something? I pulled up the acquisition documents on my screen. Remember how Dad always said I didn't understand business? Want to watch me buy his company? Her eyes widened. Aurora Technologies, that's you. That's us, I corrected. Those coding camps I sent you to every summer, they were at our R&D facilities. All those community service projects for your college applications, actually internships at our subsidiary companies. But Dad said Aurora was his biggest competitor. He's been trying to land their contracts for months. I know. I smiled, remembering Jack's dinner rants about the mysterious company that kept outbidding him. He's about to learn why he kept losing those bids. My phone lit up with another message, this time from Jack. Might be late tonight. Major problem with the Aurora Technologies deal. Of course there is, I murmured, signing the final acquisition papers with my digital pen. Emma, would you like to do the honors? She took my tablet, her finger hovering over the submit button. Dad always said women in business think too small. Then let's think big. I showed her the company valuations. His firm is worth $50 million. Aurora Technologies, $12 billion. She pressed submit. Somewhere across town, Jack's company lawyers were about to receive notice of a hostile takeover. What happens now? Emma asked. Now, we go back to your party. But Monday morning, I pulled up the reorganization plans. Dad gets to learn who his new boss is. Will you fire him? No, honey. I stroked her hair. I'm going to teach him exactly what he's been missing. My phone buzzed again. Aurora Technologies stock had jumped another 3% on rumors of expansion. Jack had no idea that every contract he'd lost, every deal that fell through, was orchestrated by the wife he dismissed as just a mom. Mom, Emma said softly. Why didn't you ever tell him? Because he never asked. I stood straightening her party dress. Your father was so busy showing the world his success, he never noticed ours. But Monday he'll notice everything. As we walked back to the party, I received one final text from Jack's company lawyer. Hostile takeover in progress. Emergency board meeting called for Monday morning. I smiled, remembering all the school plays and soccer games Jack had missed. All the times he patronizingly explained basic business concepts to me over dinner, while I was secretly running a billion-dollar corporation. Emma, I said, watching her face light up as her friends gathered around. Sometimes the biggest victories come from being underestimated. After all, Jack had always said business came first. He just never specified whose business it would be. Monday morning arrived with a storm of notifications on Jack's phone. His company's stock had plummeted 40% in pre-market trading, and Aurora Technologies' name was splashed across every financial news headline. I watched through my office windows as he rushed into his building across town, the security feed showing him looking disheveled. He'd probably been up all night trying to stop the inevitable. My phone buzzed with his message. Can't make breakfast. Company emergency. I know, I typed back. Good luck with the meeting. Emma appeared in my doorway, dressed for school but clearly too excited to leave. Is it happening? I nodded, pulling up the live feed from Jack's boardroom on my screen. Want to watch history in the making? She settled into the chair beside me, and together we watched as Jack's board members filed in, faces grim. His company lawyer was distributing documents while Jack paced nervously. The hostile takeover bid is legitimate, the lawyer was saying. Aurora Technologies has been secretly acquiring shares through various shell companies for the past year. That's impossible. Jack slammed his hand on the table. We would have noticed. I smirked, remembering all the times he dismissed my investment suggestions. Actually, honey, you didn't. My phone lit up with a message from my COO. Team in position. Ready when you are. Mom, Emma whispered, are you really going to? Watch and learn, sweetheart. I stood smoothing my charcoal gray suit. This is what happens when someone underestimates a mother's ability to multitask. The security feed showed my executive team entering Jack's building. Right on cue, his assistant rushed into the boardroom. Sir, Aurora Technologies representatives are here. Jack straightened his tie, putting on his best negotiating face. Send them in. We'll fight this takeover. The boardroom door opened and my team walked in, led by Thomas, my COO, who played the role of Aurora's public face for years. Good morning, Thomas began. We're here to discuss the transition. There won't be a transition, Jack interrupted. We're not selling. Actually, Thomas smiled, checking his watch, you already have. As of 9 a.m., Aurora Technologies owns 51% of your shares. But perhaps you'd like to discuss this with our CEO. Jack scoffed. The mysterious CEO no one's ever met finally decided to show their face. She's shown her face every day, Thomas replied. You just never noticed her. That was my cue. Emma squeezed my hand as I stood, ready to see Dad's business skills in action. The click of my heels echoed through Jack's boardroom as I entered. The look on his face was worth every missed dinner, every condescending comment about my simple mom life. Hello, dear, I said calmly. Rough morning. Jack's face went through a range of emotions: confusion, disbelief, anger. What is this? This, I settled into his chair at the head of the table, is what happens when you're too busy looking down on someone to notice them rising above you. You? He laughed nervously. You're saying you're Aurora Technologies CEO. That's impossible. You can't run a multi-billion-dollar corporation while raising our children. I pulled up Aurora's financials on the boardroom screen. Funny thing about mothers, we're excellent at managing multiple responsibilities. Something you might have noticed if you've been around more. His board members stared at the numbers in shock. Aurora's value was more than 200 times their company's worth. But the school committees, the mom groups, the book club, board meetings, investor conferences, and executive strategy sessions. I smiled. Amazing how much business you can conduct during school hours. Jack collapsed into a chair. Why didn't you tell me? You never asked. I opened my tablet, too busy explaining basic concepts to your simple wife. By the way, remember that contract you lost last month? I particularly enjoyed your presentation. Though next time, maybe don't dismiss female leadership in tech to a female CEO. His face paled. That investor meeting was you? Through video conference. I had to leave early for Emma's piano recital. You remember, the one you were too busy for. Thomas distributed new contracts to the board. We'll be restructuring the company, obviously, though some positions will remain, in altered capacities. Jack straightened. You're firing me? On the contrary, I replied. You're being promoted to Vice President of Family Relations. What does that mean? It means, I stood savoring the moment, that your new job is attending every school event, family dinner, and holiday celebration. Your bonus will be tied to time spent with our children. Consider it a crash course in work-life balance. And if I refuse, then you can explain to our investors why you walked away from the only company willing to hire you after this morning's stock crash. I showed him his company's plummeting share price. Your choice. The board members were already signing the new contracts. They'd seen the numbers. Resistance was pointless. Emma's piano competition is this weekend, I added. Your first assignment as VP of Family Relations. I suggest you don't miss it. As I walked out, Jack called after me. Was any of our life real? I turned back. All of it was real. I just refused to choose between being a mother and being successful. Maybe now you'll understand why. My phone buzzed. Emma had sent a message. Dad's face was pyrrhicielvious. But Mom, are you really giving him another chance? Everyone deserves a chance to learn from their mistakes. I typed back. Even fathers who think business is more important than ballet recitals. After all, sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. 1 month later, I sat in the auditorium watching Emma's piano competition, but this time the seat beside me wasn't empty. Jack sat there, nervously checking his new company tablet, which now displayed our children's schedule instead of stock prices. Stop fidgeting, I whispered. She can see you from backstage. Sorry, he muttered. It's just, I've never seen her perform before. I know. The words carried the weight of years of absent parenting. That was rather the point of your new position. His first month as VP of Family Relations had been a crash course in everything he'd missed. Every morning, instead of rushing to client meetings, he drove Emma to school. Afternoons were spent at Tommy's soccer practice rather than board presentations. Dinner conversations now revolved around our children's lives instead of his business complaints. My phone lit up with a message from Thomas. Quarterly reports ready for review. Also, Jack's attendance log is impressive. Hasn't missed a single family event. Amazing what proper motivation can do, I typed back, watching Jack wave encouragingly at Emma as she took the stage. As our daughter began to play, I saw tears in Jack's eyes. She's incredible, he whispered. When did she get so good? During all those recitals you missed, I replied softly. But you're here now. That's what matters. The audience fell silent as Emma's music filled the hall. Jack reached for my hand, the first time he'd done so in years. I was so wrong, he murmured. About which part? Everything. Business, family, you? He turned to face me. How did you do it? Build an empire while raising our children. I smiled, remembering all the careful planning, the late nights after the kids were asleep, the strategic use of every spare moment. I chose not to accept the limitations others placed on me, including yours. Emma hit a particularly complex passage perfectly, and pride swelled in my chest. Every time you missed a moment like this, I built something new. Your absences became my motivation. And now, he asked quietly, now you're learning what real success looks like. I showed him his latest performance review, based not on profit margins, but on family memories created. You're actually quite good at this job when you try. After the performance, Emma ran to us, her face glowing. Dad, Mom, did you see? I didn't miss a single note. You were perfect, sweetheart. Jack hugged her, really hugged her, perhaps for the first time in years. I'm so sorry I missed all your other performances. But you're here now, she said, echoing my earlier words. And you're coming to my practice sessions too, right? As per your contract? He laughed, a genuine laugh I hadn't heard in ages. Yes, it's officially in my calendar. Your mother made sure of that. My phone buzzed again. Aurora's stock had hit another record high. But for once, I didn't immediately check the details. Some successes weren't measured in market value. Ice cream to celebrate, Emma suggested. Dad's buying, since Mom basically owns his wallet now. As we walked to the car, Jack held back for a moment. Thank you, he said quietly, for not destroying me when you could have. That was never the goal, I replied. The goal was to make you see what really matters. Sometimes the best way to teach value is to change the currency. Emma called from ahead. Mom, can we show Dad the new technology center? The one named after me. Jack's eyes widened. You named a building after her. Actually, I smiled. I named a whole research division after her. Turns out, while you were building a company, I was building a legacy. For both our children. We drove to the ice cream parlor, the same one we visited after Emma's first recital, the one Jack had missed. But this time, we were all there, together. Sometimes success isn't about winning or losing. Sometimes it's about redefining the game entirely. And as I watched Jack finally truly engage with our daughter's stories about her music and dreams, I realized that maybe, just maybe, my greatest business achievement wasn't building Aurora Technologies. It was reconstructing our family. After all, some portfolios are measured in moments, not millions. And those are the ones that truly matter.